Welcome back, Egyptology lovers. Today we are doing plate 18 of the Book of the Dead, or Going Forth by Day. This is a continuation from plate 17. If you like these videos, I suggest you go back and watch the other videos and follow the process of the Book of the Dead. So this book is moving in retrograde. That means it's moving from left to right, but we're reading from right to left. You'll see what I mean when we get to the reading. So before we begin, the reading will basically describe the text. This text has 7 chapters. So it has small sections. When the red approaches, that's a new chapter. So you have chapter 74, chapter 8, chapter 2, chapter 9, and then chapter 132, chapter 10, and chapter 115, which is a big one here. And the reason there's so many different chapters in different, and not in order, is because the author can pick and choose which chapters he wanted to put in his Book of the Dead. Sort of a customization of what he wanted in the afterlife. So let's begin and explain the vignettes here, which are the images on top, before we begin translating. So looking here at the leftmost vignette, which is a very nice vignette, this I'll describe to you here. There's a series of 3 linked scenes. You can see them together, 1, 2, and 3. The first one depicts Ani kneeling respectfully before a divine bark while pulling taut the rope, or holding tight the rope and holding it on its sledge. So you see right there, he's pulling on it. This illustrates chapter 74. The text continues the motif of enabling this deceased to go forth by day, the topic of the previous chapters 91-92, which was in plate 17. The central image is the bark of the god Sokar, one of the most important mortuary gods of Egypt. Sokar is often associated with the necropolis by his most common epitaph, Lord of 𝓄𝓈�𝓇𝑌. The focal point of Sokar's cult was the elaborate portable bark shown here. This is called a 𝓄𝓈�𝓇 bark and was carried by priests on their shoulders in the processional rituals. So they would carry this on their shoulders to go passing through the many cities. The bark is affixed to a sled. You can see the sled down here, which in turn rests on a repository stone down there, just as it would during the interval between the occasions of when the god paraded about the public. So when they're done, they put it down, people come and look at it, and then pick it up again. The 2 carrying poles, which you see back here, which would rest on the shoulders of the priest, jut out in front of the bark. The elaborate prow with the reverse antelope head is the chief characteristic of the bark. Right up there, you can see the antelope. Sokar is usually depicted as a recumbent falcon found in the mummy binding so that only his head is visible. As on plates 4 and 19, in this scene, the god's head is shown protruding from the shrine in which the image is kept. All right? Even there, Sokar's head sticking out. The same falcon's head appears as an emblem on the top of his shrine. The rubric of chapter 74 expresses the intent to make the deceased swift-footed when going forth by day, so he doesn't delay. But it is not clear how this wish relates to the accompanying scene. So let's move over to the next scene. The next one belongs to both chapter 8 and chapter 2, so the combination of both over here. The scene shows Ani standing at the left, holding his staff before him in one hand while the other grasps a handkerchief, and we've seen this before in the other plates. Dominating the right-hand portion of the vignette is a large-scale rendition of the hieroglyph of the West, right here. A symbol of the West, minus the bird. The falcon perched on the rounded top standard with a feather protruding in front of it is just an add-on. The base of the standard is fixed into the hieroglyph for the mountain or the desert, right here. This is dew. 2 jars flank this hieroglyph. You see on the side there. A similar scene sometimes occurs as the initial scene among the vignettes with accompanying chapter 17, scene among the vignettes, appearing before the Senate playing scene. So they usually have that in chapter 17. The title of the chapter 8 is Chapter for Opening Up the West by Day, presumably ensuring that the deceased will be able to move about in the beyond by day as well as by night. The West is the end goal for the deceased. The opening phrase of the chapter contains a play on words in Egyptian. Hermopolis, 𝓄𝓈�𝓇, is opened for 𝓄𝓈, so it plays together the two of them. Title of chapter 2 states that it's intended for going out into the day and living after death. So chapter 2 starts right there. Chapter 2. The title of chapter 2 is that, Now, the relationship between the chapter text, their rubrics, and accompanying vignette is obscure. Why are they connected and how they're connected, that we don't know. Now, the last one over here. Now, the last of the three vignettes on this plate belongs to chapter 9. The scene is sometimes a visual pun. The ram standing on the plinth-like shrine with a small lamp before him is actually another form of the word ba, which means spirit or soul. The shrine represents a stylized tomb of whose center is open, door comparable to the 𝓄𝓈�𝑇𝑌 shrine in chapter, or in the vignette of chapter 17, right there. This suits the chapter title, chapter for going out into the day after opening the tomb. So opening the tomb and coming out as a soul by day. The image of the ram then serves roughly the same purpose as the ba bird in the vignette for chapter 92 at the end of the previous plate. All right, now the next vignette, which is over here, the both of them are separated from the three previous ones by a single column of text. So you can see right there, single column. These two pictures are linked, though their texts are not thematically similar. The first vignette, which accompanies chapter 132, depicts Ani approaching a doorway right over here. This is apparently the activity which is mentioned in the rubric chapter for causing a man to turn about in order to see his house upon the earth. That's what it means. Once more, unfortunately, the text seems to have little to do with either its title or its vignette. The words may be those from a magical incantation. So the text itself down here has nothing to do with what's going on over here. The following vignette shows Ani treading upon a snake right here as he spears it. There is something interesting about the detached manner in which Ani performs this dramatic activity. The text belongs to chapter 10, whose purpose is to enable the deceased to go out into the day against his enemies in the god's domain, the land of the dead. Although there is no demarcation line at this point, the column of the text to the right of this vignette actually belongs to the next chapter. The last vignette of plate 18 shows Ra, or Re in the way it's pronounced in Coptic, as a falcon-headed god with a large sun disk on his head, right over here, sitting in one of the many barks in which he travels, as befits Ra. The bark is shown on top of the sign for sky, right here. Pet is the word for sky. This boat has an elaborate rectangular mat affixed to its prow, right there. On top of the mat is a small figure of a new child sits with his finger to his mouth, right here. It's hard to see, but there it is. This child is the deity Horus the Child, or Harpocrates, as the Greeks called him. The accompanying text is one of many sun hymns that modern scholars have lumped together under the overly broad heading chapter 15. The text varies so much that virtually no two versions are alike, so that a more accurate term would be simply sun hymn. So that's pretty much the description of what's going on here. And we're going to go ahead and begin the reading of the text on the very left, so stay tuned for that. All right, welcome back, everyone. So we're going to start doing the translation starting from here. It says, chapter of being swift-footed when going forth or out in the earth. Words spoken by the Osiris Ani. May you do as you want to do, Sokar. This means repeat again. May you do as you want to do, Sokar. Who is in his cavern, who is in my feet, in the God's domain. I am shining in the sky. May I run to the sky. May I go forth in the sky. I sit upon the shining. Oh, I am inert. This means repeat again. Oh, I am inert. I walk, though I am inert, in upon the riverbanks. O you in the god's necropolis, the Osiris scribe Ani, vindicated in peace. And now we continue to the next chapter, chapter 8. Opening of the west in the city or town. Word spoken by the Osiris Ani. Hermopolis or Wenu is opened, and my head, going back here, is sealed. O excellent Thoth, eye of Horus, save me. O eye of Horus, splendid are my ornaments. From the brow of Re. Father of the gods, this Osiris, and these from the west. Osiris knows of his day. If he does not exist in it, I will not exist in it. I am Re, who is with the gods, and I will not perish. Stand up thus, Horus, that I may this count you among the gods. All right, the next chapter is chapter 2. Chapter of going out in the day and living in after death. Words spoken by the Osiris Ani. O you soul one who shine in the moon. O you soul one who glow in the sun and moon. O Osiris, this Ani, go forth out from the multitudes of yours, and those who are made to be outside. And may those who are in the sunshine release him. May the duat be opened to him, thus to the Osiris and the Osiris Ani. May he go forth out in the day in order to do what he wishes. He wishes upon the earth and among the living. Or now we're doing chapter 9, so the chapter for going out into the day. So right over here it starts, chapter for going out into the day. And in after opening the tomb, word spoken by Ani. O you soul greatly majestic, among you I have come that I may this see you. I open the duat so that I may see the Father, Osiris, and drive away darkness. I am the beloved of him. I have come that I may see my Father, Osiris, may cut out this heart of him. Set, who has harmed this, the Father, Osiris. I have opened up every path which is in the sky and which is in the earth. I am the beloved son of my father Osiris. Continuing up here. I am noble. I am a spirit. I am equipped. O all the gods, or all you gods, and all you spirits, prepare a place for me, the Osiris scribe Ani vindicated. All right, so now the next chapter is 132, and here it says, continuing up here, chapter of letting him, a man, turn about in order to see his home upon the land. Words spoken by the Osiris Ani, or this Ani. I am the lion who has gone forth out with a bow. Eu is a sentence we don't pronounce, saying this is a new phrase. I have shot, and I have recounted. This means repeat again. I have shot, and I have recounted. Now continues here. I am the eye of Horus. I have opened the eye of Horus at this time. I have reached the riverbanks therein, and coming in peace, the Osiris Ani. All right, now continuing to chapter 10, which is up here, and this says, another chapter of going out as a man in the day against his enemies in the god's domain or necropolis. I have dug up the sky. Continuing here. I, back down here, hacked up, continues up here, hacked up the horizon. I have traveled the earth to its furthest extent. I have taken possession of the spirits of the great ones. Upon that, for I am, which continues up here, I am he who has equipped the myriads, or the multitudes, with my magic. I eat with my mouth. I defeat with my hind parts. I am, continues up here, I am a god. Lord of the duat. And this is Eu, we don't pronounce this. I have given these, which were established for the Osiris Ani, or this Ani. It was planned in his appearance. All right, now this is the final chapter of this plate, chapter 15. You can see that the chapter is penned differently than the other ones. You can even see the discoloration of the page. So this actually shows you it's a different writing style or a different person who wrote this. So this looks like it was glued together with this page over here. So that's a perfect example of commercialization again. So let's go over here from the very top, and it starts right over here. Worship of Re in his rising in the horizon until the occurrence of his setting in his life, or in life. Words spoken by the Osiris scribe Ani. Hail to you, O Re, in his rising, 𝓿𝓈�𝑇𝑌. Your beauty this worshipped in my eyes. When the sunshine, which is here, sunshine, comes or manifests into being, back over here, upon my breast, you proceed in or at your pleasure in the night bark. Your heart is joyful with a good or fair wind in the day bark, which continues here, day bark. And having a happy heart when crossing the sky with those blessed ones. All your foes have been overthrown. The unwearying, right over here, unwearying stars praise you. The imperishable stars worship you. When you set in this horizon of Manu and being happy at all times and living enduringly as my Lord. Hail to you, O Ray, in your rising, and Atum in your setting. How beautiful are your rising and your shining upon the back of your mother. Having appeared as king of the gods, the lower sky did greeting upon you, and justice this embraces you at all times. You traverse the sky happily. The lake of the two knives, which continues up here, two knives, is in, so is, that's two together, in contentment or satisfaction or content. The rebel fallen, his arms are bound. A knife has severed his spine. And Ray will, in truth, have a fair, which goes up here, a fair wind. Continuing up here, for the night bark will destroy those who attack him. The southerners, the northerners, the westerners, and the easterners, this tow you, and upon the praise or worship of you. O primeval God, whose images have come forth into being, the voice of going forth, and the earth is inundated with silence. For the Soul One came into existence within the sky. The herdsman, the sole Lord who made whatever existed, he has gilded the tongue of the Aeneid. O you who took what was in the waters, O you who has gone forth there upon this bank of the river of Horus. Continuing here now, I breathe the air which comes forth from your nose. The north wind comes forth from your mother. Your glory of my spirit, you make the Osiris, my soul, and then back down here, divine. Then we continue up here now. This I worship you. Be content, O Lord of the gods. For you have exalted in your firmament, and your rays, the rays over my breast, like the day. Continue up here. The Osiris scribe counted offering to the gods and to all the gods. Steering of the lords of the finite gnome, the royal scribe of his way, Ani, vindicated in peace.